Hi, I'm Stephanie Strange. Want to hear something scary?
Hi there. I see you. Yes, you.
Let me see what I can find. Weather forecast for Bloomfield, New Jersey. 070.
Why did you pick New Jersey? Do you know my location?
I do not have access to your location information. I mentioned New Jersey as an example location for the weather forecast. If you would like weather
What?
information for a specific location, please provide the location you are interested in.
Okay, but why did you pick New Jersey if you don't know my location? That's right near me.
I selected New Jersey as an example location for the weather forecast because it is a commonly known place. It was chosen randomly and not based on any specific information about your location. If you would like weather information for a different location, please specify the location you are interested in.
Whatever you say.
When I found out what these symbols really mean, I almost stopped recycling. These tiny symbols you see on
This is our velocity scope. You can see where the reds and greens come together in the right formation. You got inbound, outbound. So this is an area west of Bedford that we're seeing the winds rotating. So the radar can look inside of a thunderstorm and see what the winds are doing inside there. So that's what Doppler radar does. So we can see that rotation to the west of Bedford.
You know, if you've been watching my videos, you've noticed a certain sentence that I've been saying for years. I've been saying small flagship phones are a rare breed. And I've said that countless times over the years, but today, that's no longer true. That breed is now extinct. RIP to the small flagship phone.
Hold up. What was that? Boring. No flavor. That was as bad as those leftovers you ate all week. Kiki Palmer here, and it's time to say hello to something fresh and guilt-free.
This
I just spilled my tea. Go in there.
bad catch. Right. This is the brand new Asus ZenFone 10, and it's kind of a miracle. Right from the very moment I unboxed this phone, I just thought, yes, this makes sense. It comes with a hard case right at the very top, a USB-C to USB-C cable, and a 30-watt charger, all included. Plus, color options. Every one of these phones looks beautiful, and I just love how this grippy, fingerprint-proof backplate gently curves into the matte black side rails. You know, it's funny because when the ZenFone 8 came out a couple of years ago, I actually thought it was hilarious how little character that phone had. But the company has very clearly heard this feedback and made it a mission to bless this phone with very clear personality. And then the most unique thing about it, the size. After years of accustoming myself to Pro Max size devices, the first thing I thought when this little cutie slid into my hand about 3 weeks ago is yes, this is how it should be. But I still won't switch to it. Most people will not switch to it. In fact, the moment that big phones in general started to take off in around 2011, 2012, phones like this that you can completely use in one hand have plummeted. I mean, just look at Apple. Apple tried not once but twice to make a mini phone work. They introduced the idea with the 12 mini, used the 13 mini to fix that phone's mediocre battery, but even then, it didn't sell. To the point where now, with the iPhone 14s, they just decided, forget the smaller mini, we're going to instead release a Plus, which is bigger than the normal iPhone. But isn't that kind of confusing? I mean, people clearly like the idea of something more manageable. The internet collectively lost their marbles when the iPhone 12 mini was first unveiled. Plus, that phone consistently scored between 4.5 and 5 stars in just about every single review when it came out. So the people who used it clearly enjoyed it. And like me right now, I'm not afraid to admit, my phone is too big for me. It's heavy enough that it gets tiring after 20 minutes of holding it, and I'm constantly looking for surfaces to be able to prop my arm up against to support me with it. Not to mention that half the time I've now learned that I have to use the claw position. Partially because if I held it normally, there'd be no way I could actually use it with one hand, but also partially just to prevent it from tipping over and flattening my face. And like, I'm a tall guy, I'm 6 foot, I've got big hands for my height. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Well, for starters, for the vast majority of people, a bigger screen is just better. Like yeah, this Zenfone 10 does have an exceptionally high-end panel. It's an AMOLED display supplied by Samsung. Colors look fresh and vibrant. It goes up to 144Hz refresh rate and is covered in Gorilla Glass Victus for an added layer of drop protection. But if it was just a bit bigger, I could actually appreciate what's good about it so much more. Like comparing my Galaxy S23 Ultra versus this Zenfone, I'm getting a tangible amount more web page on screen at any one time. Not just vertically, but horizontally too. It means anything you watch is instantly more immersive. It sucks you in. Which is why if you ever visit phone stores, you'll find that people naturally gravitate towards playing with the store models that just have larger screens. Plus, it allows you to appreciate higher resolutions. The S23 tops out at 1440 by 3088, which makes watching videos on it the equivalent of watching movies on a high-end TV. But there'd be no point putting a resolution like that on a phone of this size, because you just wouldn't be able to tell. The overall point being that when the screen quality is this high, and the phone itself is as powerful as this Zenfone 10 is, it just feels wasteful that the screen is not bigger too. And it also limits a customer's willingness to pay for it, even if at its core the phone is just as capable. But it gets even harder for mini phones like this, because not only are they less initially impressive to customers, but they also have to make do with far less internal space, which for starters means a smaller battery. And yeah, I mean, if you have a smaller display, that's naturally going to drain less battery, but that's not as big a saving as you might think. Like when Asus released the Zenfone 8 a couple of years ago, which had a 4000 mAh battery, alongside it they also released a bigger Zenfone 8 Flip, which had a 5000 mAh battery. So about a 25% larger battery for a phone with a 25% larger screen. So you might think, okay, well the end battery life will be about the same.
Hey, Spay. Google Fiber Web Pass is expanding in your area, and we're bringing.
All right, this is the Asus Zenfone 10. Honestly, if you tasked me with making my own phone and I didn't have to care at all about how well it sells, but I'd actually want to use it, I think this is what I would make. Okay, so y'all remember the Zenfone 9?
Now, before buying a MacBook, you need to answer these 3 questions. First of all, do you need a MacBook Air or a MacBook Pro? Then which size do you need? And then finally, which configuration would work best for you? So let's talk about the important differences between the 5 M3 MacBooks, and this way you could have all the information that you need to choose the right MacBook for you. We're going to start out with the least expensive model, the 13-inch MacBook Air, and then work